Well, guys, today's the day. Today's the first in a long series, I believe, of videos pertaining to stats in your class. Today, we're going to be focusing on the medic DPS and specifically what stats are needed in order to maximize your medic's damage. Now, let's get in game and let's actually take a look at the stats I'm talking about. And then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of break away from the game here, and we're actually going to land on a Google presentation that I worked on. It's not very long, but it kind of gives us additional details about these stats. So once you get into game, the first thing you want to do is hit P to bring up your player profile. I put mine right over the center of my character, but nonetheless, when you are on this page, what you want to look for is this option here. Make sure it says display stats. If it has some other option selected, just click the drop down box and select stats. You'll see here we have both offensive and defensive stats, and we have a bunch of substats within these categories. Okay, what we want to basically pay attention to in this particular lineup here are the following stats: strike through, multi-hit, critical hit, and vigor. Tenacity and armor pierce are good, but they're not your priority focus. Okay, now with that, let's go ahead and move on to the presentation itself. So give me 1 second here. Let me pull up the window. Okay, you guys should be seeing on your screen now this medic DPS stat priorities presentation. Now I noted it as a 2018 edition, so that way we can make sure that we kind of keep this information current. Now this information is current as of today, the 16th of January, 2018. So let's talk about stat priority order. Now this is the order in which you're going to want to focus on in order to maximize your character's DPS. So the first thing you want to look at is your strike through percentages. Now, I note here it's strike through to content type and described in the next slide. And we'll see here in a minute what I mean by content type. So let's actually go back to the game real quick, and let me show you what my percentage is on strike through. Well, right now it's 11.38%. Okay, back to presentation real quick. If you see here in the presentation, and this is going to be important, and this is why I wanted to kind of show you that number, because when I talk about the content type, we're actually going to see more detailed percentages on strike through. The next stat up is multi-hit chance. Now, this is where we want to be for like tier 3 rating, right? 55 to 65%. So we want to kind of keep pushing. You know, after we have our strike through at the percentages we need, we want to focus on multi-hit, and we want to keep pushing that up as much as we can to get to those numbers. The next stat after that is going to be the critical hit severity, and we really want to push that one out there, all the way up to at least 215%. That's obviously, I think, our ceiling on that one. Now, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I haven't played in a while, so if those percentages are not right, please feel free to actually leave comments in the video to tell me what they really should be, and I'll make those corrections. But this is what I have so far based upon the research and discussing this with some people. So that's our priority: strike through, multi-hit chance, critical hit severity, vigor. Now, let's talk about the strike through percentages. Now, in this table here, I've broken it down into the content type. And this, I mean dungeons, raid tier 1, all the way through raid tier 3. Then I talk about the percentages of strike through that you want. So for dungeons, we want to have at least 10.24% strike through. Now, if you remember from a moment ago, let me kind of show you this again. If we look back at my stats, I have 11.38%. So with my gear score of 99 and 11.38% strike through, I'm in a pretty good spot to actually start doing some dungeons. Remember, dungeons only required at least 10.24%. And technically, with the strike through that I have enough to actually get into genetic archives, which requires at least 11.24%. Datascapes, or raid tier 2, at least 16.98%. And Red Moon Terror, at least 18.95%. So, once you have these stats achieved for the content type, so if I said to myself, man, I want to get in and start knocking out some Red Moon Terror. Well, I need to push my strike through up a lot. And I don't think I can get there from where I'm at now to here. I think I'm going to have to go through these, obviously, raid tiers to get better gear. And on top of that, to get my runes set up. Okay? So again, strike through is priority number 1. Multi-hits number 2. Critical hit severity is number 3. And then vigor. Content type, this is what we're looking at. This is our baseline. So this strike through percentage is going to be a slide that we see throughout all of our DPS classes. That's a universal truth in DPS and WildStar. This strike through is what we want, and these are the percentages that we want them at. Now, let's talk about real high level about the DPS runes. Actually, more specifically, fusion runes. So I kind of put in this table a breakdown of the armor type and the fusion rune name. So you see here, in our weapon slot, we want to have Mordecai's Red Moon's ammunition. Now, you see these are linked. So obviously, if you follow the link by clicking on it, it'll bring you to a more description or more descript site that gives you more information about what exactly are the details behind this particular rune. On the helmet, Deadly Blows. On the chest, Flurry. On the gloves, True Strike. And on the boots, Quick Feet. And I think somebody mentioned or Sprinter, and I haven't really been able to find too much info about Sprinter. So let me just caveat that Quick Feet or Sprinter could go into here. So that's it, guys. That's really the high level or a little bit more deeper dive into the stats for the DPS medic. Again, strike through, multi-hit, crit hit, vigor. Strike through wants to be at least at these percentages. Your vigor, your multi-hit at least, shooting up toward these percentages. And your critical hit shooting up toward these percentages. When you have the gear, you want to start putting in these fusion runes. You can. That should be a goal to work towards. And so that's pretty much it. Pretty quick presentation, but took me a little bit to kind of pull this together, especially these percentages types. So let me give out some shout outs here. First, shout out to Cheesy Poofs, the medic, for his invaluable information about the stat priority and the strike through levels. Mila Everspring and the Blacklisted Guild for their input on the stats as well. Couldn't have done it without their input. So thank you to those guys. Now, like I said, this is one of many, but we're starting with the DPS medic because DPS medic is what I'm working on to get to a raid level. So I wanted to start with something that would actually be meaningful and help me along the way as well. So apologies for being selfish to start with, but I hope that you guys found this video and the presentation here to be somewhat helpful for you. And we also should consider this to be a starting point for updated information. I'd like to use these presentations as our first step, and to add on that with community knowledge and understanding about these stats. So again, if there's anything you'd like to see added to the slides or any information within there to be modified, by all means, please let me know by putting a comment below in the video, and I'll work to make sure that it gets added to the presentation here. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the feedback. And don't forget, I stream at twitch.tv/mystic813 is where you can catch me. So if you want to chat with me in game, please do so by following along during my Twitch streams. I try to stream every day, usually about 7 to 8 o'clock Eastern time, and then till pretty much till I fall asleep or pass out. So thanks again, guys, for watching. Thanks again for any comments in the positive that you may leave in the future about these videos. Till I see you guys in game, or till I see you on my stream, take care.